The Clapping Man. This happened to me and my cousin when I was 11 years old. I'm 30 now. I was living in Arkansas and playing in a little horse pasture with my cousin. It was a normal day, and the sun was beginning to set. While we were playing in a dirt pile, I hear slow clapping behind me. I turn towards the noise and see a tall, slender man smiling and clapping right on the other side of the barbed wire fence, about 20 feet away from us. All I remember were the colors black and white. It was a very brief glance that caused my flight instinct to kick in, leaving my younger cousin. Luckily, she has the same instincts and began running quickly after me. I hear the clapping beside us, and when I glance over, he's running along the fence line parallel to us, keeping pace, looking over at us, scarily smiling, and he continues to clap faster. I'm running as fast as I can, and a barn comes up and he disappears behind it as I'm trying to climb over the wooden fence. Luckily, the house is a lot closer, but I was terrified he was about to come out from behind the barn. My cousin and I get to the house without him showing up again, and we immediately tell my aunt and uncle. My uncle goes out to find him and sees nothing. He doesn't even see footprints. They still believe us to this day because we were terrified with what we saw, and to this day I have not changed my story of what happened. It's ingrained in my head, and it scares me so bad to think about it even now. I wanted to make this post to see if anyone had had similar experiences like this. Is there any folklore, cryptids, myths about something like this that anyone's heard of? I do believe in different dimensions from the many more things that have happened in my life that were unexplainable, but this was just one encounter. That's terrifying. I'd bet that he was just some pedo or crazy person, and maybe your uncle just didn't find his footprints. To me, actual humans are way scarier than the paranormal. Yeah, I've thought about that too, and it could have legit been a person. That does make it scarier because he would have to have come out of the woods then, because behind where he was standing was just woods. The only thing that's really odd to me is I don't remember his face looking human. The smile was overly large, but I was also in a panic, so that could just be kid brain. And his clapping was an unnatural way to run. Unless he was just trying to invoke fear by doing it, I don't even know. It felt unhuman, but I was terrified, so I can't really judge my instincts too much in that situation. I really do think it was just your kid brain. When I was about 13, I was playing in the woods and wandered a little too deep in. I was walking up the hill with lots of trees and saw a rusty metal cage on the ground. Then I saw another and another, so I'm looking down at the ground wondering what's up with these cages, and I looked up and an old man was about 5 feet away from me, just standing there looking at me. I've never run so fast in my life. He didn't move or say anything. To this day, I have no clue what I walked into, but I know that that guy was real. There are just freaks in the woods. Do you happen to know why your aunt and uncle left that place? Yeah, so they ended up leaving because my aunt just felt unhappy there. I always got a bad vibe from the house, and when I was babysat, I'd be in there alone sometimes. Before my cousins got home one day, I was sitting and turned off the TV to go outside and heard, "Hey," right by my ear. I turned quickly and nothing was there. I ended up staying outside for the rest of the day till my cousins got off the bus. I've had tons of paranormal experiences from multiple houses. The clapping man was the only experience that I've had outside, though. I have several questions. When you looked back the second time and he was running, was the entity wearing clothing? If so, please describe it. What color were the eyes, and did he have hair? When you say a scary smile, can you describe what that means? I mean, did he have sharp teeth? Yeah, so the clothing almost looked like a tux. I remember black and white, like a suit almost. Eyes, I don't remember. His hair was black, but I don't remember the length, and his smile looked huge and unnatural. I don't remember sharp teeth, but we were a bit further from him, so I couldn't see the details of the teeth, just how big his smile was. It drew the most attention, and how he was running slightly hunched over while clapping. Do you have any recollection of his age and what year or state this happened in? I've seen something or someone that matches this description a bit. I don't have any recollection of age, really, just that he was an average-sized man, so he wasn't a child or anything like that. The year would have been around 2005, and it was in South Arkansas. By tall, do you mean really tall? He was tall like an average tall guy, maybe 6 foot something, but I was also on the smaller side for an 11-year-old, so most people seemed tall to me. This thing or man was almost jester-like, like almost clownish in how it smiled and moved. I never told anyone what I saw that night. This is something that happened to me when I was about 12 years old. I don't usually talk about it because people either don't believe me or just don't care, but it's something that stuck with me over the years. So it was during summer break. My cousin was staying at my house because he had broken his knee and needed help getting around. He was a little older than me, but we were super close. We'd stay up all night playing video games, eating junk food, and just doing typical guy stuff. One night, I was in my room playing video games by myself. My cousin was in the living room. I'm not sure what he was doing, but I know we were the only ones home. It was getting late, and I was just about to shut everything down and go to sleep when I saw something. Something started crawling towards me. It looked human, but not quite. It was all messed up and deformed. The way it moved didn't seem right at all. It made these weird noises I can't even describe. At first, I thought it was my cousin playing some kind of sick prank, until I remembered his leg was broken. He couldn't crawl like that even if he wanted to. That's when I absolutely lost it. I ran out of that room so fast and didn't even look back. I told my cousin what I saw. He didn't really believe me, but I could tell he was creeped out too. After that, I refused to sleep in my room for at least a week. I crashed on the couch in the living room and kept the lights on. I ended up living in that house for another 6 years. Nothing quite like that has ever happened again, but that room never felt right. I always had this weird, heavy feeling when I was in there, like I was being watched. I don't know what I saw that night, and I honestly don't care if people believe me or not. I know what I experienced, and to this day, I still get chills thinking about it. I've moved since then, but every now and then I get scared that something like that might happen again. Has anyone experienced something similar, or does anyone have any advice on how to deal with this kind of thing? I still get freaked out sometimes, and I really don't want to talk about it with anyone in real life. It's always interesting when I see these stories that initially seem like they could be disproven as some sort of prank, only for that to be completely impossible in the given scenario. A key detail seems to be missing, however, that perplexes me. Where exactly did this creature crawl from, or did it just appear in front of the storyteller? Did you look at it directly? I mean, can you describe what it was like, or did you just see it out of the corner of your eye? Honestly, it was so long ago I can't remember clearly, but I just remember it was crawling and making this growling noise. It's weird to explain, but now that I think about it, I could see some teeth too. So, to clarify, you were wide awake and not drifting off to sleep? People have seen similar things in the in-between state, but by the way you describe it, I don't think you were quite there yet. No, I can guarantee you that I was 100% awake when that happened. I saw something a few nights ago that reminds me very much of the creature you described. It was crouched outside my bedroom door, and and I live in a bedroom that was built inside of a garage. Okay, weird flex. I've also felt watched since that encounter. It was very creepy and gave off incredibly negative vibes. It kind of jumped and ran away into the dark garage when I opened the door, but it seemed to be crouched and just staring at me through the door. There's been some tension in the other members of the house, along with recent deaths of my family members, plus the inevitable death of the family monarch approaching fast. I'm trying to tell myself it's just the physical manifestation of stress surrounding all of that, but that being said, there's something else in the actual house that is mean and has been tormenting my boyfriend for a long time, and now it's harassing me as well. It's a different energy from whatever was crouched outside my bedroom door, but both were spooky enough that I'm planning to craft some dowsing rods and try to communicate or hopefully expel these evil spirits. I've seen various stuff and had some weird encounters, like a mass of black with red eyes. I think what we see are various forms of jinn, demons, fae, or whatever you want to call it, but I believe it's all part of the same unseen world. The other night this happened to me. A black mass ran from my bathroom to the darkest corner of my room. I couldn't stop staring at the corner, unblinking, trying to see it, and I was terrified. I don't think that that's something you're supposed to do, look at the darkness like that, but I've had a very uneasy feeling about my bathroom since. My only guess is I have 3 mirrors in there, pointing at each other, and I've heard stories of possible portals opening due to that. I don't know, but I saw it twice, and 2 nights ago my bathroom door opened by itself. I was completely sober and I wasn't afraid at all during it, just having a normal night preparing for bed until it showed itself. Then I felt fear, but couldn't look away from the spot it ran to. I must be hypersensitive to them or something, because this is about the 6th time I've seen one in my life. Each time it's taken me by surprise. I have sleep paralysis too, and the 2 scariest times it was shadow people. They seemed curious and didn't try to hurt me, but I was terrified. One was hovering parallel over my body, face to face with me. That one was the scariest. This is my story and I'll make it quick. One night I had sleep paralysis and I saw a blacker than black shadow with red eyes standing in my doorway. The next night I wake up around the same time and my wife's going through the closet and she tells me she's seen 2 little red lights. Fast forward a couple years later and I just watched something on YouTube about demons attacking and whatnot, and my wife is having a nightmare. I look over to the closet, just fucking around, and I'm like, don't you have some better shit to do? At that point, I get an oppressive feeling over me. It felt heavy as hell. Then I saw a red light blink like a laser pointer. I felt something and sat there and stared at it, and then I looked in the closet and said, "Bitch, you're in the closet, why don't you move the fuck on?" And I felt it leave me. I don't know what that means, but I was sober and I felt that same kind of energy as when killers in prison used to look at me. What the fuck? I've had weird things happen and been told I was just tired. It's infuriating. As a kid, I'd beg my parents to believe me, but nope, it was just my imagination or I was tired. I mean, as an adult, I do convince myself I was just tired if I get on a loop over them and start getting freaked out, but I believe you that you know what you saw. My first one was falling asleep in the room I shared with my brother. I distinctly remember a hand coming up from the back of the bed, a bed that was against the wall, so it definitely couldn't have been human. It grabbed my hand. I shot up screaming until my mom came in. I was so young and remember her explaining imagination to me and what it can do, etc. And I was like, no, a hand just grabbed me. And she was like, sweetie, it didn't. The second one was when they moved me to the top floor with my sisters. We each had our own room. Mine was the box room in the middle. My door was right in front of the stairs. I rolled over in bed, and this young boy was stood there at the bottom of the stairs. Jet black hair, brown eyes, just staring at me. I blinked, even turned away and turned back, but he didn't move. All he did was start crying. It was awful. I screamed for my mom and hid under the covers until she came in. She said it was probably me being tired, or maybe even my little brother. Little brother has bleach blonde hair and bright blue eyes. There was no way it was him. I slept with my door shut after that. I also remember waking up in the night as a very young child before I shared a room with my older brother and before my younger brother was born, so I must have been very young. I'd wake up to see weird things like shadows moving around or the clown faces that I had on the wall contorting and smiling or frowning. I was always told it was night terrors, but come on, every night? Due to being so young, I just tell myself that's what it must have been. We all had our experiences in that house, I'm sure, but we didn't speak much on it as my dad is a strong Catholic, and he always told us that we don't mess with that stuff, and my mom just wanted to make us feel better, so she would always say it was just this or that. So I think we just kind of learned to live with it eventually. Our house was extremely old, 1800s era. I lived there from 3 up until 18 and then moved back briefly for a few months. We 100% had a mimic growing up. We had no clue what a mimic was, so we used to respond like fools. My partner heard the mimic once after years of not believing me. It would often feel like someone or something was watching you, and that house still gives me the creeps. My parents have upgraded it, so thankfully it doesn't look as creepy as it once did. That mimic was smart too, as my oldest sister had epilepsy, so he would mimic her going, hello, 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 and you would get so mad, but also you'd be like, maybe she's going into a seizure, so you would have to go check. We called it the hello ghost for that reason. It got us all at some point whilst living there. I'll never forget when my oldest sister heard it. Freaked her out to hear her own voice calling out to her. I had a hand grab my hand when I was really young, screamed, and my dad came running to me. He didn't see anything and tucked me back in. My mom said it was just my brain playing tricks on me, but I was wide awake playing in my bed. I felt the texture of the hand. It was leathery and very large. It felt like what I'd imagine an orangutan's hand would feel like. To this day, I believe it happened to me and was not a figment of my imagination. I had a similar experience in my childhood home. It was a weird little old man clambering on the walls of the room I shared with my older brother. Goblin-like and so withered that they looked nearly mummified. All it did was stare and watch me. I thought it was a night terror for years until my brother brought it up as he and I were exchanging some of our spooky tales. I'd never told anyone about the spidery old man goblin thing, and I never brought up the night terrors. Then my brother said, "Oh yeah, Mom trained me to pay attention to your breathing. Your asthma was bad back then, so I heard some weird raspy breathing, got worried, and turned to look at your side of the room, and swear to God, this old, scar-covered man with a long nose was creeping out of the crack between the corkboard above your bed and the wall. They were just staring at you." I hadn't thought about that thing for years at that point, and it brought memories rushing back. And like that summoned him, I saw the bastard again a few nights later, as a grown-ass man who enjoyed the dark. Guess they heard us talking about him and wanted to check in. Seen other stuff, luckily nothing overtly aggressive, mostly just curious passing by. The worst that's happened is I've been slapped or groped by invisible entities once or twice. I kinda brought the latter one onto myself by lighting incense for anything passing through. I got far too into paranormal stuff in my younger years, after some experiences of my own, and I regret it. One of my earliest memories as a child stuck with me, where I was sleeping in the bed with my sister and niece, and woke up seeing little red men crouched at the end of the bed watching us. I sat up and rubbed my eyes, and they were gone. The house had some other strange occurrences. I told my folks about the little red men I saw, and I also told them something had picked me up and I drifted down the stairs, and the tips of my toes were sore from scraping against each stair on the way down. Then it sat me down at the base of the stairs. We also had something bite one of my nephews and left teeth marks. He swore it was the big, stuffed Dalmatian that we had in the bedroom at the time. He said that it came alive and bit him. We knew it couldn't have been him because those weren't human teeth marks. I remember as a child that I swore blind I saw two skeletons in the mirror in my bedroom. It was dark in the room, yet the skeletons were bright in the mirror. I still vividly remember them to this day, and I'm 43 now. Very scary until my mom helpfully pointed out that what we had been reading, a bit obsessively over the past few days, was this Funny Bones book with two skeletons on the cover. I leased a house for about 9 months. Every night I was awakened at 2 a.m. If I changed my bedside clock forward or back, I would still wake up at exactly 2 a.m. There were a couple of times when I got up in the morning and the chairs at my kitchen table were pulled out like there were two people that had been sitting there, even though I remember pushing them in the evening before. My cat was constantly freaking out, even though he was a mellow cat before moving in there. He went back to normal after I moved out. I would occasionally think that I saw some kind of movement in my peripheral vision, and nothing would be there when I looked. Pretty sure the place was haunted. In the backyard of a rental house I had, there was about a 20 by 8 foot depression on the lawn. One night, I heard shoveling, and when I looked out the shade, there was a skinny man standing there looking right at me, so I closed the shade really fast, and 5 seconds later, opened it a little, and the guy's face was 2 inches from me. This guy was dead, and had been for a while. The next day, my neighbor said his shovel was in my yard, and there were scratches on the side of my house like someone was trying to turn a doorknob. Well, I'm not sure how much of that was real. I saw the same thing at my grandma's farm. It was crawling like a spider. Long legs, body, had long hair, and was staring at me, coming slowly, holding the side edge of the bed where I was lying. I jumped up and out of the bed to turn the lights on, and it was gone. I never experienced anything like that before. One night, when I was about 8 years old, I went to sleep with my mother, and when I went to bed and was about to fall asleep, I saw bright white eyes next to the bathroom door. Her figure was thin arms and legs, and a large torso compared to her body. Since that day, I've been afraid of the dark. This was Dante Calvino. Let me know what you thought of the format for these stories, or if you have one of your own to tell. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more mystery every week.